US President Joe Biden's domestic agenda hangs in the balance. Biden's Build Back Better and infrastructure bills are going to be put to a vote in the US House of Representatives shortly. It's a make or break situation for Joe Biden's massive domestic agenda. The House will be voting on the $1.75 trillion Build Back Better Act and the bipartisan infrastructure bill. A $1 trillion infrastructure plan, which has already been approved by the Senate, will be debated in the House of Representatives. The night before the vote, Joe Biden heavily lobbied Democrats in the House to vote in favour of the bills. With a 221 to 213 majority in the House of Representatives and a united Republican opposition, the Democrats need a near unanimity to pass any legislation. The Democrats are already reeling from a disappointing defeat in the state of Virginia this week after a Republican won the governor's mansion in a state that Biden won handily back in 2020. The party is eager to show that it can move forward on the president's agenda and fend off Republicans in the upcoming 2022 midterm elections, when control of the House and the Senate will be on the line. The Democrats have been working to resolve their differences, particularly with Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia and Kyrsten Sinema of Arizona. Both forced cutbacks to Biden's bills, but strongly backed the slimmer infrastructure package. Well, let's quickly take a look at the bills that are on the centre of this debate. The climate change bill promises allocation of a whopping $550 billion to fight climate change. It guarantees incentives and credits for Americans who opt for renewable and low-emission energy sources. This includes buying electric vehicles and the installation of solar panels. And it also plans to cut greenhouse gas emissions by the year 2030. Two of the main areas covered under the social spending bill are childcare and housing. The bill allocates $400 billion for free and universal preschool. It plans to limit childcare costs and to extend child tax credits. $150 billion are set to be allocated to build 1 million housing units. The plan guarantees help with rental and with down payments as well. Well, for the latest on all of this, let's cross live to Susan Tarani, who's joining us live in New York City. So, look, Susan, weeks of negotiation have gone into this. There's been party infighting for the Democrats. How do you expect today will play out in the House of Representatives?
Yeah, Nick, as you mentioned, this is so important for the Democrats, notably Nancy Pelosi. Last night, they worked until very late in the evening to finalize this 2,000-some pages of the bill, and most of the lawmakers that are going to be voting for it really didn't have that 72 hours lawful time to go over it and see what they're signing on to. And as of now, it's not yet clear whether or not Nancy Pelosi has the votes that she needs to be able to pass and rush through the social spending bill. So it's yet to be seen. She was confident yesterday, and she's very adamant. So is the progressive wing of the Democratic Party in the House, that they sort of really want to get something to the Senate before the end of today. Both bills, the infrastructure bill and the spending bill, notably after the defeat that they faced on Tuesday in Virginia and other places where voters went to the poll and preferred to vote Republican as opposed to Democrat. But it's yet to be seen. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, they really can't miss any votes. 221 Democrats right now. They need 218. They could miss 3 votes. Those 3 votes will probably include Kyrsten Sinema, Joe Manchin, but also, you know, it's sort of a political victory that they're looking forward to at this point, because even if the bill goes to the Senate, it could still just be dead on arrival and come back. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be a long day indeed. As of now, the process is going through as it would normal. They're having a meeting right now. The rules are being set. After that, there's going to be a debate. And then after that debate, later on in the day, there will be a vote. So we'll wait and see. And of course, we'll keep you up to date on the latest.
Yeah, Susan, as you said there, potentially a very long day ahead. I wanted to ask you as well about the Democrats who are really trying, I guess, to show a united front at the moment after losing the governor's election in Virginia this week. How important is it for them to show that they are united now?
You know, it's very interesting. On the one hand, after that defeat on Tuesday, we did see the more progressive wing of the Democratic Party members like AOC take on social media and say that the reason, for example, we saw the upset in Virginia was because the Democratic candidate was not progressive enough and was perhaps running too moderate of a campaign. And on the other hand, you know, you would wonder what more moderate and centrist lawmakers in the House are thinking right now, like Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, wondering whether or not you know, they should continue and stay course, being the moderate lawmaker that they have been, really, and if that's the way to go. And at the end of the day, you know, I think the American public realizes that despite the fact that perhaps the Democratic Party and Nancy Pelosi particularly wants to put up a front that they're united, well, I mean, we really don't see that, first of all, and some might argue that this is a crisis of Joe Biden's own making. He ran on a moderate platform, but right now, just with this Build Back Better bill, you know, it's being held hostage by the more progressive caucus and more progressive members of his own party, and it has elements that are so to the left that members of his home party can really not agree on. And so, you know, it's an issue. It's an issue. They have to come together, never mind even talking to the Republicans and bringing them together. But I think that's one of the main issues that not only Kamala Harris, but Joe Biden admitted himself. He said that, you know, if we can't get this bill and agree on this bill with one another, it's going to really cost us not only in 2020, but perhaps Joe Biden's legacy as well moving forward. So they understand the message of unity is very important.
Yeah, potentially some difficult hours and maybe difficult days ahead. Thank you very much, Susan. That was Susan Tirani joining us live from New York.